Boom, stop! In episode 75, I answer the question of how to handle a girl who's always on social media.
Masculinity for the intelligent man. I'm David Tian, Ph.D., and this is Man Up!
Hey, this is David Tian, Ph.D., and this is episode 75 of Man Up. I'm in Singapore. It is a little bit rainy. Let me just show you the view. It's kind of nice. Singapore is actually a very green city, especially for Asia. Beautiful air out here most of the time when Indonesia is not burning their forest. Anyway, so show you a bit of the view there. That's a nice view. Okay, cool. So I got a question from the private Facebook group. Actually, this one is was a private message. I usually don't answer private messages, but this one is pretty good. So I'm going to answer this, and it comes from Mark. And it's, he says, how do I compete with the attention a good-looking girl is receiving on social media? Just to go into more detail, between Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, and God only knows what else, girls are more and more on their phones posting pics and videos rather than participating in real-life interactions. You take a girl out for dinner, she takes pictures of her food, then watches her phone to see how many people liked it. Take them to an event, and they have to check in, then respond to everyone's comments saying they are jealous. Thanks for your time, Mark. Okay, so I totally know where you're coming from. Pretty much all of my friends, or female friends, are really heavy users of these different social media platforms. And to be honest, even my clientele, the guys on our online programs who are under or 25 years and under, I would say even in America, 30 and under, hardly ever use this thing anymore. They don't really use the MacBook. A lot of girls I know who are under 25, except for work, they don't usually open their own personal MacBooks or computers. They're always on their phones. And this is just the future of the universe. The internet, as you know it, will no longer be consumed mostly through this. It'll be mostly perceived through wearables. The phone, insofar as we carry it around everywhere, but soon, you know, Google Glass was trying to make a foray into it, but it'll be everything. I got an Apple Watch usually. I don't have any of my accessories on. I usually have an Apple Watch on. Soon we're gonna have like smart pants, smart shirts. We're gonna have the Oculus Rift to consume information. And experience reality in many ways. This is good and bad. So get with the program in a way. This is good. This is good. I know exactly where you're coming from, Mark. Let's see Mark's age here. I'm guessing based on his email address. Let's see. Let me just make sure my math is correct. That he's 30 years old. So based on your email address, it looks like you're around 30. And that means that you are not in touch with young people. Probably. I mean, I'm 39 and I'm just getting on Snapchat. In fact, what I wanted to do was I'm really bullish on it. Hold on a sec. Whoa. Oops. Okay. Really bullish on Snap. So I just got on. Well, I've had an account for years actually, but I just never figured it out. And I was mostly on Instagram for the past couple of years, though, you know, everyone's on Facebook. Once your grandma goes on Facebook, you know, then that's time when all the cool kids get off Facebook. And so they've been on this platform. So add me here. I don't think you can really see it. It's David Tian Aura. Add me at David Tian Aura. Snapchat. Okay, so add me there. What I really love about it, well, just go check out what Gary Vaynerchuk says about Snapchat. He got me convinced around the turn of the new year, to get on it and use it. So I've been experimenting with it. I've had tutorials from my 20-year-old female friends showing me how to use it. And it's still, this is how funny it is. Just last week I realized there were all of these text messages being sent to me and I didn't know you could actually send text messages through it, but I just swipe this way, right, and you can read it and then you can reply. So I kept thinking, how do I reply to this? I'd have to send a photo and write on it, but then anyway, that's how behind I am, and I feel like a lot of guys are not with the program. So here's the deal. You can do PUA tactics to momentarily change the situation, because back in the old days it was just text messaging, and if a girl wasn't into you, she'd be on her phone and all you hear is bing, 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 and it wouldn't be different social media platforms. It'd just be text messages from her friends. And if she is not interested in the conversation with you, she's not interested in you enough, then the phone will overtake her attention. And this isn't, oops, I should mute this. This isn't any different just because now we have new platforms. The attention deficit was always there when she's not interested in you. Now, there are old PUA ways of dealing with this. You should, especially if she's used to being ADD in that sense with her friends. And so let's just make it clear. It's not a social media platform problem. It's an ADD problem. So if she's not used to focusing on a conversation, like you'll notice a lot of girls nowadays, if they're under 25, and I would say definitely under 21, have a hard time sitting still through a 1.5, 2 hour movie, unless it's a really gripping movie. But you'll see that a lot of these girls are so used to checking in that it's hard to pay attention to one thing for that whole period of time in the dark. And this is something a bit new. The lack of training around focus, I think. So if she's that case, if she's one of those people who's just used to being this way, because around her friends, they're all on this and it's not a problem. That's why I started off by saying get with the program, because it's not necessarily a sign of disrespect. She's just used to living in the realm of social media, and that's not a bad thing, because get this right. When she's interacting with people, she's interacting with real people. So it's like, it's not like she's interacting with a passive object. She's interacting with somebody on the other side of this. So she's chosen to interact with those girls, her friends, or some other guy, rather than talking to you because you're not fucking interesting enough. That's the fucking truth. That's the truth. So taking this device away from her won't make her more interested in you per se. However, she might be trained conditioned to be pinging on this device. And sometimes she just needs to have that pattern interrupted. And you can just tell her, hey, look, for whatever period of time, like for the next half hour, let's try to not actually look at this, all right? Let's turn the phone over, put it on mute, just turn it over, and I dare you not to look at it. If you lose this dare, dinner's on you. Just make it fun. And make it realize that young people, cool people, are on this all the time. And I don't mean the phone, I mean social media, because that's the way of the future in terms of how information will be consumed. And in a way, we've always been on social media. We've always been interested more in referrals. We always look more, we're social creatures and we always are trying to connect socially. It's just that instead of face-to-face or on the phone, in the old days when you had to dial like this on a rotary phone, instead of that, we have much more advanced devices, that's all. And then there are different platforms, so there are different ways of sharing information. I personally, when you're out with me, I'll do like an Instagram photo once a day, and I try to limit it to once or twice a day. On Facebook, I try to limit it, except I like sharing information that I find useful to other people. But Snap is great because, and I'm just learning it again, I'm pretty excited about it. It's fun because I know I don't need to be a perfectionist about it. So I can share the interesting things about my day, right? So I take photos of my food because I think it's cool and I want to share the joy with other people. I also like to keep a photo journal, which is not good with Snapchat, but with Instagram it is. And I can look back, what was I doing last year for Christmas or last year, which is something I just looked up. So those are all good things. It's not anything that girls do. I think you should do it. You should get with the program, get with the world. But like I said, sometimes it's an addiction in a way because she's used to the dopamine hit of ping, 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 somebody likes me, somebody's giving me attention. So just tell her, she's looking at her phone, just put your hand over her hand, just to pause, stop her, pattern interrupt, touch her hand and say, hey, look, for the next half hour, let's see if you can do this. And if she doesn't like you, she'll get angry about that. She'll be offended by it. That's a really important sign. Now, all of this to say, so I said earlier, maybe as a 30-year-old, you're just not cool enough and you got to get on these platforms to be cool. However, if you don't want to do it because of some principled stance on I'm anti-technology or something, then find girls who are anti-technology too. Okay, so just like if you're a hippie, you can go find a hippie chick, right? Just find somebody whose values are like yours. However, if she's like most Americans or most people around the world, she's going to be hooked into this, especially if she's young, under 25, she'll be hooked in, especially on Snapchat. So either you get on there and understand how to use it and enjoy it just like she is, and you can share in that experience because it's pretty easy to do a Wi-Fi, and bring her into it, or she can bring you into it and you can just get in there and it's cool. It's actually a way of sharing with her friends, actually. Okay, so there's that. Okay. And then I said sometimes they're conditioned, or sometimes we are conditioned by these sounds and vibrations to look to this phone, so much so that we have a hard time. Especially the youngsters who are raised on this since they were like 10 years old, have a hard time sitting through a 2-hour movie. So you have to make the allowances for the way the generations changed, all right? So either you get cool and you share in it, or you try to do a pattern interrupt and you tell her, look, for the next half hour, for the next hour, let's see if we can both stop, pay attention to this and pay attention to each other, right? If she takes offense at that, and I don't think many of them will, but sometimes they do, then this is what I would do. My values are such that if you are seeking external validation, woman, if the girl is seeking external validation and approval, and that's how she gets her feeling of significance, then that's not somebody that I want to spend any time with, let alone get in a relationship with. In the old days, maybe I would have gotten into sexual relations with her because, maybe she's hot, but I now have standards, and I recommend that you get standards too. Don't spend major time with minor people because they will actually bring you down. Just don't, if that's your principled values, then if those are your values, then stick with your guns and say, just end the date early. Just say, hey, I gotta run. It was nice, eating with you. Take care. And then that's it, you're done. Just politely exit. You don't have to make a scene or anything. If she says no to the like, hey, let's put this aside for a half hour. If she says no to that and that bothers you, then end the dinner as soon as you can. Like, just get out. What's the problem? Don't bother trying to convert people. Don't bother trying to convert prospects who are not real qualified leads. Okay, using sales language. It's much better use of your time to go source for new prospects because there are 7 billion people in the world. There's no reason to ever get focused on any one, especially, there might be when you have investment into that relationship. And hey, Asian guys, this means that you need to be 3 months into a relationship with her for that to be the case, at least a month. And I've had it at least knowing that there's physical intimacy, okay? So a lot of guys I've noticed in Asia say they're in a relationship and all that means is that they have some lunch meetings with the girls sometimes. Okay, so that's clear, right? So the first date, there's no reason to invest. Get the heck out of there. You've learned a lot about her. If she is on those platforms, not to connect with people, but to get significance from them. So if she's commenting on other people's stuff and they're having a back and forth conversation, or they're having private snapping conversations, or she's on WhatsApp privately with somebody, then that's actually healthy and normal. And if she's choosing that over you, it's because you're not interesting enough, she's not attracted to you enough, so you got to make a choice. Do you want to keep going with the girl who's not attracted with you, to you, or you might want to reassess who you are and whether you're boring as fuck, and maybe that's why she's so into this. Because if something was really right in front of her, just like something just blew up and there's machine guns going everywhere, she's not going to be checking Instagram, all right? She's gonna be like, what the fuck, right? And she's gonna be, wow, look at that. And then she'll probably take it on Instagram, right? And take some photos. But like, if you were interesting enough, she'd be weefing with you. That's what I'm, on the one hand, maybe you're not interesting enough. On the other hand, maybe she's just not right for you because your set of values is to poo-poo Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and you don't respect those platforms. And I feel sorry for you because you're going to become a dinosaur. Get with the program, I would say. A great guy to learn from on social media is Gary Vaynerchuk. I'll give you another shout out to him. Just Google Vaynerchuk. I don't know, Vaynerchuk. Big inspiration, especially since he started doing those daily V's. Okay, cool. So I'm trying to keep it, oh my God, 13 minutes. All right, I gotta run. It was a pleasure talking to you. And until next time, man up.